Good morning, sun. Good morning, birds. And greetings, everybody. Welcome today to Blind Talk. Today, Kimmie is behind the camera, and she might have some questions. What we'll cover is the different stages of independence that a blind person might go through. First of all, let us define independence. I love technology, it's awesome. So, I've got my smartphone in my hand, happens to be an iPhone. And for those that are newly adjusting to their blindness, often there's a question, gosh, how am I gonna see the things that how am I gonna read the things that I wasn't able to read before with my diminishing vision? How am I going to see the things that I can't see when I go blind? And luckily enough, this is 2020, so you have options. Anyway, we'll go into that at a later time. First off, let's define independence. So I'm going to do it using my iPhone. Define independence.
As a noun, it means the fact or state of being independent. Do you want to hear the remaining one?
Sure.
A historic city in northwestern Missouri, east of Kansas City. Population 110,440. Est 2008.
That is awesome.
God,
to
that
know
technology.
That in 2008, there was that many people in some place called Independence, Missouri. But independence is basically something where, as a blind person, I want to be able to do things that I think that I can't do now that I'm losing my vision. So there are people out there, there are agencies out there that will help, and so I get a cane and I go through the process of getting all the help that I need through the state, through agencies such as vocational rehabilitation and other things to help with employment and things. Ends up that you're afraid at first. I'm afraid at first. I'm newly blinded, and gosh, what do I do? I want to use my cane. I want to employ the alternative skills and techniques necessary, but I'm afraid, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to be afraid. It's natural to be afraid. What one does with that fear is what's important. After the fear is mastered, one hits the second stage of independence. By golly, I just learned how to cross the street. Man, as a newly blinded person, adjusting to my blindness, I just crossed this street, and I'm full of my independence. And by golly, I don't need you, the sighted person's help now. Guess what? I can do it all by myself. And I'm militant about, I'm marching with my feet in place. I'm militant about the idea that I am independent. And so sometimes somebody might come up and say, "You're going the wrong way." And so what happens then? Well, which way do you know? How do you know which way I'm going? How do you know I'm going the wrong way? So you might get a little bent at the person in this second stage of independence. You tell them, go get bent. I ain't going the wrong way. Right as you walk into a manhole. Both the first and second stages of independence are most important to go through and to realize to their fullest extent. There are times where I might be afraid to do a certain thing as a blind person, but when I master that fear and hit that second stage of independence, wherein you might be cocky and totally sure of yourself, even unto when, say, the elevator doors open, but the car is about 6 inches below where your cane is because the elevator car malfunctioned, and you open the doors open and you walk in there thinking you're just walking into an elevator and you're walking into empty space until you hit that car. fun. I know this one from firsthand. It's very painful. So I suggest, and this is just a suggestion, that you make it through that second stage of independence as quickly as possible, and realize that the third stage of independence is where we all want to be, and that is well-adjusted independence. I know who I am, I know what I can do, I know my capabilities, but I also know my limitations. So there are times where I might need some help to do some certain things. Accept that help if it's offered. Be gracious, because there are times where people just want to be able to help you and they don't know any different. And so if I were to be approached by Kimmie and she were to grab my arm and I were to say, "Get off me," then the next blind person that she were to meet, she would not want to approach them. So, that covers really the 3 stages of independence. Covering them again, just to recap: first stage, fearful independence; second stage, militant independence; and third stage, well-adjusted independence, where we all need to be. We know our rights, we know our capabilities, and we know our limitations as well.
Alan, I definitely remember when I went through this stage when you call militant, and at first I was afraid, and I needed my mom for every baby step I took, and then I got to where it's like, oh, I can do that, and it kind of became, comical at times, because I can do that became me smacking right into the wall. I'd have one arm on the right, one arm on the left, and I'd walk right into the divider of the wall from the living room. I have gotten into the wrong cars, I've walked into the wrong doors at stores, I've tried to be tough and not use my cane and fallen in potholes on my way into Walmart. So through a lot of that, I had to decide, I think she's right here, and I can't be this way, and I do need to do it myself, but I need to do it myself with the tools I have that will help me, and that's where I went from there. Just wanted to say that.
One thing that often happens with the adjustment to blindness and the 3 different stages of independence is the idea that once one reaches that stage of independence wherein they're confident and they know what they know, but they're angry about it, that affects both folks that are going blind, newly blinded, but it also affects, or has the potential to affect, those that have been blind all their lives, like myself. I've been blind all my life, so therefore you would think, or one might think, I should say, that these 3 stages of independence, I didn't have to go through any of that, and I just jumped right straight to the well-adjusted because I've always been blind. And that's just not the case. One has to go through all those stages until one reaches that 3rd stage, because it's just a necessary thing. I don't know what to say about that. One final thing that I just wanted to cover: regardless of what stage of independence that you're in, there are people that are willing and able to help. There are the National Federation of the Blind in America. There is the World Blind Union, which basically is an international body of collective blind people. And of course you've got the American Council of the Blind, also in America. These alphabet agencies, if you will, are great for any sort of assistance that you might need, whether it be assistance with how to access the services that you need, even on down to assistance with social matters. There are support groups, and there are definite organizations out there that are willing and able to help address those issues. And I shouldn't call them issues, but more opportunities. Remember that gratitude smashes resentment. So if I can find one thing to be grateful for every day, I'm happy. And then the next day it's 2, and then the next day it's 4, and the next day it's 16, and the next day it's... Pretty soon I get up to 156 things in a day to be grateful for. I don't have time to be pissed. I mean, unhappy about things. I think YouTube's gonna let that one fly. But I do try not to cuss on the channel much. Any other stuff you wanna? Any other stuff?
Just say goodbye and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye. We'll see you next time. Oh, did you stop it yet?
No.
Okay. Like, share, and subscribe.